Hey, Mr. George Lopez, how you doing, sir?
Beautiful. How are
Awesome,
you?
man. That's what I love to hear. Thank you very much for spending a couple minutes with us here at KSAT TV in San
Yeah.
Antonio.
What's going on with you guys?
Not
Everybody
much,
good?
man. Not much. Obviously, I know it's a little bit of an earlier start for you, and we know you have a big, show coming into town next couple of days. Just wanted to ask you right off the bat, man. Just what's your favorite part of performing in San Antonio?
Um, well, it's been such a long time. Like, I think that club had just started when I first started to go, the Center Comedy Club, and that place was pretty big. So back then, you wouldn't really sell it out. And then, gradually as you started to go back, and then, the show started, and then you go to the theater, then you go to the arena, the old one. Then I went to the AT&T Center and did Tall, Dark, and Chicano in 2009, nominated for a Grammy. And just over the years, I mean, I'm not going to do this forever. I mean, nobody does.
Right.
But as I start to see the end coming, it's great to see places that have supported me. And, I haven't been perfect. Nobody's perfect. But I've always been consistent in my performance. So, I mean, I still like it. Like I said, I'm not going to do it forever. And it's been, looking back, it's been a long time, 42 years. But I kind of like that this last run from, after the pandemic, like the middle of June, that, I didn't work for 14 months. I think that was kind of the longest that I ever went without working, even in the yard as a kid.
Right.
And and it's just kind of, to be not that good in the beginning, but then to see it come back is, listen, man, baseball players, basketball players, nurses, doctors get a shaking hand or whatever. It, just nothing lasts forever, and it's good to see that, you've lasted a lot longer than most of the guys you started with.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you kind of talked about that relationship with the city, man. Do you feel like it's kind of grown and evolved over years? I know that a few years back they were upset with you here and stuff, but it's like they always embrace you here in the city. It's like we get defensive here in San Antonio, but you're a West Coast guy. So do you kind of like that back and forth, or just that sort of atmosphere here with the
No.
crowds?
No. That what happened with that incident in Seattle was that Charlie Murphy was on that tour, and we were in San Antonio the night before. Charlie Murphy wasn't well; he's passed away since then. I think he's been gone
Right.
almost 4 years. So Charlie was working not well, and Charlie said San Antonio and Seattle, and they booed him. And then I went up and I said what I said to get it off of Charlie.
Yeah.
And then somebody was videotaping it, and
Of course.
they think they got you, and they sent it, and then it happened. But, I can only apologize, and that's it. But, I was protecting my friend. If he had said Seattle, we wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, man, which is definitely understandable, protecting your familia and friends and stuff. So when you're down here, I know sometimes it's a quick turnaround. Do you get to enjoy some of the food or restaurants, atmosphere, anything else, or you're literally just here to do the shows and then on to the next one?
I try to, man. I mean, we go to La Tierra, mi tierra,
Right.
after the shows, or I send somebody over to get some panuts. But, it's a little bit difficult. I remember one time when I was at the comedy club that I went out, and people started to recognize me just from the comedy club. And then when the show started, I would still go out, and then I couldn't go out. I mean, you can, but it's very different.
Right.
To be recognized by your voice, by the way you look, with a mask, without a mask, whatever. And I mean, the show's been on almost 20 years, so of course it's on every morning. So it's great. But I pick my times. Like if I go out, I don't mind being asked or take a picture or whatever, because I'm out. If I don't want to do that, I don't go out. It's that simple.
Yeah, definitely. So, you talked about just kind of, doing stand-up over time and how, it's evolved. For people that are going to go out there, what's a little bit of a sneak peek that they can expect, people that have bought tickets or expect to see from you, and the type of energy that you're going to bring here for the next couple of days?
Well, I mean, you don't really kind of change your stripes, but I think from from getting older, and seeing, um, I think a lot has to do with like the things I think are funny, man, are like, you know, um, if the pandemic, I mean, nothing funny about the pandemic, but
Right.
Latinos that don't want to get vaccinated, to me, is the biggest contradiction, because you'll go to the park and eat a corn with mayonnaise that's been in the sun for 3 days straight, and you don't know where it's been, you don't know when the guy bought it, you don't know when the expiration date is, but you want double and triple cheese and mayonnaise, but you won't get a vaccination. So you're not afraid to die in the park, but you won't go get a vaccination to make you okay.
Right, and of course, you got like all these families going to all these like taquerias and stuff that who knows like the last time like the health codes were, and yet they're still like
Listen, man,
that's
come on.
that's like religion to them. So I feel you on that, man. I got
mean,
family like
listen,
that too.
if you think every restaurant is clean, just go in there and tell the dude, let me look behind your refrigerator and see if you would eat there after that.
Oh man, that's wild, man. So
So to me, wanting to assimilate, I think, everybody can't be the same. I've always thought that, and we're different. My grandfather would say, try to be, Mr. America. Go to your room. I slept in the living room.
yeah,
So
that was the
he would be
room.
like,
Yeah, that was
close your eyes,
the.
Carol. Close your eyes, because it's just, we are what we are, and everybody trying to be the same is the biggest problem.
Right,
To
definitely.
me.
And I know that you're also working on some different projects. Of course, you have a pilot coming up for Lopez versus Lopez. Now, is that kind of give us a little description of what that's going to be like?
You ever get any court papers that say, you ever see divorce papers that say?
I have not yet. I don't know.
Hopefully you won't have to.
Right.
But I was estranged from my daughter, mine, who I only have one child, for years, and they come back. Guys that have been divorced or people that have had kids go away. And they come back. So this is kind of about me trying to get her back in the early stages, like and you can't say anything, because you can't, you got to just take the hit. But they come back, and I'm doing it with the original guy that did my first show. Mine was 5 when we did that show, so she's 25 now. That guy is like part of my family. I mean, that guy took me from people not knowing me to everybody knowing me. So I get to go back and do it with that guy again. And this is, if you believe in like manifest destiny, I've had everything that I've ever said was going to happen. And that's an interesting thing to look back on my life. And I did a half-hour interview with Why You Crying, the DVD. And in the half hour, I talked about the future, and everything that I said was going to happen happened. So, I mean, when that happens to you, you realize that you got like a charmed life, So, it's not bad being me, and even that was bad. But I think, people go through those decisions in their life, and you don't like your kids, and your kids don't like you, but you love them, but not in that, they don't love you in that time, and you just gotta take the hit. And I hope that, the first one was kind of real with the mother and the wife, but this one is real for the second part of my life. And it would be good to be able to have some success with my daughter, because she's always been very funny. She's great.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I know. No, that's definitely describes a lot of Latino and Hispanic families.
Yeah.
You kind of always have that love for one another, but sometimes you get a little estranged for sure. What's it? So obviously, you mentioned the show you had, the George Lopez show 20 years ago, which is still every time it's on, I still watch it like on Nickelodeon or that whole thing and stuff. But what's it like just to get back into that sort of grind, to start doing the sitcoms and get back into that workflow?
Well, the first one was, I didn't know anything about anything the first time. And then gradually, as the years go by, you learn a little bit. But to be able to go back and do it again, if a baseball player had retired 20 years ago and he was able to go back and play again, how would you think that dude would be? Be happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, so to go back and know what I know 20 years later, and I mean, it's not, nobody's better than the system that's set up, but I mean, you can be really comfortable in something that makes most people uncomfortable. And I think that's what's been not the strength of my, I did some dramatic movies. Just did a show with Amazon about a Chicano family in LA that was dramatic, and this one's comedic. So there's not a lot of people that can do that of any color. I would put my career highlights up with anybody of any color. I'm not successful because I'm a Latino. I'm successful because I've had a long career and I've done everything I set out to do.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that drama that you're doing. It's and I found it interesting because obviously, the word Chicano, that's a strong word in my family. That's always the way like my dad kind of represented himself. He grew up, in the 50s and 60s and stuff. So just what drew you to that project and to kind of do this drama that's about this family?
To me, the difference between a Mexican and a Chicano is the Mexican is the one primarily that will say, "Hey, vamos, no digan nada," and the Chicano's like, "Hey, what did you say, dude? Come over here and say that." That's the difference. The Mexicano doesn't want any trouble, and the Chicano's looking for trouble. To me,
that's a good way to put it.
Right?
Yeah, no, that's
Chicanos,
definitely.
The Chicanos never let it go. Listen, people recognize me. On Monday, these two people were looking at me, and I said, "Hey, you all right?" They go, "George Lopez." I thought they were looking at me like, "Is this dude going to break into our garage because the garage door was open?" And I was like, "I think these people think I'm going to break into the garage." And they recognized me, but they weren't sure. And here I was ready to go in there and break into the garage. But, so we're always like a little bit half-cocked like a gun when you go out. "Hey, man, that dude stepped on you." "It's all right, man. It's nothing." What? It's even more to friends. They get you and they go tell that dude, "Hey, man, he stepped on his shoe. It's all right." No, man. "Hey, come over here and clean his shoe." "Oh, yeah, that shit, clean his shoe." Like that is
yeah,
what comedy is.
Oh, dude, definitely. Yeah, that's for sure the mentality, man, when it comes to
like they always say, "How do you make serious funny?" You make serious funny because serious can be funny. Like the guy, the son gets out and, your police talk to him like, "Hey, man, you can't go a day without having the police in your life," and he's like, "Shh,"
I feel you, man. I feel you. All right, man. I know you're busy. I'll want to let you go, but I do want to just have one last thing. I mean, what's is there just a message for people in San Antonio that are gonna head out there, or anything else that you'd like to maybe add about breaking ground for Latinos? I know you said that's not the reason that you've been successful, but obviously you've opened a lot of doors and pathways for other comedians and stuff. So anything else that you'd like to add about being here, or just that, or kind of breaking barriers, man?
We all know how it's going to end, and life is short, and laughter is better than crying. And I've always been good at what I've done. I think people will have a great time. It's way different than it used to be. A little edgier, a little deeper. But I think it's good, man. Listen, I got one kidney that's not mine from somebody that's really not that crazy about me. So I'm not wasting any time about every day and living your life. I mean, I've, at this age, 60, you have a lot of friends that have gone, and there's nothing you can do about that except enjoy the times that they're around. And right now we're all around each other, and this is the best time of our life right now, not later.
All right, man. That's amazing. George Lopez, thank you so much, man, for spending some time with us this morning, and safe travels over here, and best of luck, man, on the tour and everything else that you have coming up, man.
Dude.
All right.
Come out to the show, Rick.
For sure, man. Definitely. All right. Thank you very much, George. Appreciate you, man.
All right. Yes, sir. Thanks.